6th of April Youth Movement and its offshoot, the Democratic Front, held a press conference on Tuesday in which they announced they would appeal Monday's court ruling banning the group and ordering the closure of its offices. Also, one of the incidents throughout and used throughout this week, the United States urged Egyptian rulers on Tuesday to reverse a court decision to sentence 682 Muslim Brotherhood supporters to death. Meanwhile, Egypt's Justice Ministry on Tuesday rejected the local and international reaction to the previous day's mass death sentence for 683 people, describing it as inadmissible. We'll be discussing this and more with Dr. Ibrahim Ghazawi, lecturer of human rights and international law and expert of law enforcement establishment reforms. I'd like to thank you very much for joining us, sir.
Thank you very much.
So let's start first with the decision for banning the 6th of April group. Now, this decision is going to a large segment, a revolutionary segment, and also they dubbed it as a sort of limiting their freedom and limiting their voice and the activities that they are doing on the ground.
Well, banning a group like 6 April was not a matter of administrative decision. It was a judiciary decision. And that sheds the light on the nature of the process itself. We understand, taking for granted that when such a concern being referred to the court, so it's handled by judiciary rules, by the existing laws, by the normal laws, ordinary laws, not emergency. And that gives a shadow of acceptability, admissibility, and also credibility to the process itself. Getting back to the movement of 6 April itself as one of the unique elements behind the revolution on 25th January and the events that followed that day, that revolution, well, in general, it doesn't give immunity to any revolutionary movement that they have taken part in the revolution. They have always to abide by laws. They have always to be committed to the legality components. If they depart in their practices some way or another, they depart from the course of their course of activities away from the rules and the existing laws, they have to be subject to accountability. So in terms of that, the court decision, let's say that in principle court decisions are non-debatable in general, because behind that fact or behind that norm or rule, that the judge is not only judging by his whims or by his own personal impressions. He is just accountable before the existing laws and rules. So
yes, but the question comes, why is it now? Why wasn't it like years back? It has been established, I guess, for 6 years now.
Well, definitely the question is about some activities that have been previously or historically probably not clear enough, or evidences were not available, or no one even cared at that time to put the issue into the public like that. It doesn't mean that necessarily that they were 100% clear or they were committing mistakes in the past. Probably that's about something about their course of actions that have, you know, sometimes, you start something in a very good way, and in your process of moving forward or practicing your activities, probably sometimes you get away from or depart from the acceptable or rules of concerning or controlling these activities. So it doesn't mean that the judge is saying today or sentenced for this movement to be banned today, that why not it was not for 6 years ago. It means that today there is an evidence, there is an existing reasons behind that decision.
So you're an expert in law enforcement, and definitely when you're speaking about judiciary decisions, this is something, as was mentioned, inadmissible, and it's not to be changed, the judiciary decisions regarding such issues. But again, if we're looking at law enforcement from another side, you'll find Ahmed Maher, the lead for the 6th of April, was imprisoned for a very long time, and just when he came out, the decision was also decided for the ban. My question here is regarding the jailing of Ahmed Maher and others, like, for example, Ala Abdel Fattah and Doma and others, and this decision with, if I may ask you, with the law enforcement criteria, was it correctly done?
Well, actually it was correctly dealt with in terms of, okay, let's not talk about names, let's talk about the principle,
yes,
about
exactly.
the behavior itself. Because law doesn't know Ahmed or Sharif or Ibrahim. Law does know only behavior.
Yes.
So whenever a behavior is going and matching the laws or not violating existing rules, it's okay. Go ahead and do whatever you want as long as you are not violating existing laws. What happened with some of the names that you just mentioned is that they committed some violations of the court procedures while they were being taken from their custody places to the court. They committed some, violations in terms of their behavior with the law enforcers who were escorting them. And well, the idea is being a figure in the revolution, and someone that is known to be a revolutionist and acceptable under that title doesn't entitle anyone to violate the law. Even, I would even go further to say that those people should be even more committed than normal people in terms of their acceptance and their obedience to the existing rules, because the youth are looking at them. So if they display any behavior that is not acceptable, I'm not talking about morals, I'm talking about law, I'm talking about existing rules that every citizen on this region in Egypt, on this territory, is committed to respect and to follow. So if somebody, for any reason or another, violates that norms or that laws, he should be accountable, and he was accountable before an ordinary court. It was not emergency courts, it was not military court or court martial or whatever. It was ordinary courts. So the idea is whether the behavior itself was 100% violation of existing law or not. This is a decision, a sentence, a judgment by the court, and what we have to say or to shed the light on the positive aspect of this situation and other similar situations, that we still govern it until today by ordinary laws. We don't have emergency laws controlling the court procedures or court technical handling of the cases before them, which is very let me tell you, in terms of human rights, in terms of rule of law, very much positive and very much something that we have to encourage and look into as something very positive, very inspiring to the future, that even during this tough time we're still sticking to normal laws. And that gives a true impression that in terms of human rights, all the people accused of any crime, they have full rights to protect themselves, they have full rights to receive necessary legal counseling, they have full rights to be treated in a very human way according to internationally accepted standards of human rights, and according also